So, you're a wall artist. You've got a wall to paint. Where'd you go? Where'd you get your paint from? Let's go find out. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is where you come. Welcome to Rogues Gallery. Let's go inside and meet Dan, shall we? Here he is. It's that man with the plan again. It's Dan. Hey, fella, how you doing? Well, we're here at last, aren't we? I mean, this is, I don't know what you want to call it. This is Gamma Central, isn't it? This is where it all happens. All happens here.
Yeah, it's a 9-year development with, room to still evolve. Like, we've grown this organically, and that's been a nice thing. And that's part of it. It's like I have no training in business, so yeah.
I mean, even as we stood here now filming, people are trying to get
Yeah,
You're a popular
yeah,
shop, brother. I mean,
yeah.
So tell me about the development. I mean, how did you come to start a shop in the first place?
I was with a partner, and she was an amazing artist, and we were both kind of stuck in care work, and I'd had enough, and I had just about enough savings to start a business, and I was very convinced that, she, you'll get noticed and you'll land commissions and blah, blah, blah. The first year was frigging hard, and after a few months, she was like, I'm out,
So you decided to carry on.
So, I mean, yeah, I wasn't gonna just bail on this project because I didn't really want to go back to cheddar. I'll see what I can build out of this. John, who we'll chat about in a bit, like he was there from day one. Same with Laura. I'll show you some of her stuff. Cuzzy Ben that helps with Stars of Somerset. So yeah, within the first year, like 3 or 4 people came along that were,
Core
solid friends that understood what the idea was.
Did your vision change after?
Not really. And interested, now that we're chatting about it, I kind of dusting off 9 years worth of memory. I remember realizing that now that I wasn't focused on kind of one person's abilities, and I just opened the door, all these other abilities started coming in. Sam Smith, the blacksmith, was an early one. And he just got good enough that he didn't need to make pendants and door handles anymore. He was landing bigger commissions. But to begin with, I was selling his early work. And he's a good example of just having the door open and being open to selling local people's crafts. That was down on Church Lane. That was a lot smaller space. And we were there for 3.5 years and grew it. Like a plant's reached its saturation in its pot. That's how that shop felt.
I actually came
it's not
into
going to
that
get any
shop.
bigger. So yeah, 3.5 years in crafty shop. But when we moved to the high street, we changed the name to Rogues Gallery, which is a collection of mugshots. It's a police record. So there was a kind of with the street art and the graffiti roots. It was, and because it's a collection of different people putting art in here, it did feel like a gallery, like a rogues gallery. And also because it was called Crafty Shop, people kept thinking I sold craft stuff like Sew Over the Moon. I don't want to be on the high street constantly telling people I don't sell wool and knitting needles.
Although the first granny coming in here for a bit of
this way, I mean, Crafty Shop was
out.
even more I felt like Crafty Shop was Channel 4, late at night. I felt, that was really rogue.
Yeah.
And then here I had to be more like Channel 2,
a bit more mainstream.
just at the watershed. I had to, and that was a learning curve for the first year being here.
This must have changed over the years, but then at the same time, I guess, from what you're saying, there's certain things haven't changed.
I'd say those that have been reliable and their stuff has proven successful with the public, they're potentially still involved. Again, Lynette was someone that I was like, man, Lynette's been in here since 2015, I think. And she's based in Gloucester, but she'll send her stuff down whenever I let her know that stock's low. I have a good working relationship. Same with Boswell and his stuff. It's been, you know, his stuff's been in here from the beginning of Rogue's Gallery. But at the same time, other things haven't worked. Trying to sell original art was too hard. Like, it's not a proper gallery. There's too much going on for people to try and take in art. And so I was really happy when Kim opened, Heart of the Tribe, because it meant that there was a space totally dedicated to art and trying to sell original art.
Yeah, and of course what's really great about the Heart of the Tribe up the road there is their full support for wall art. I mean, Kim's behind the mural trail. To have a gallery that isn't snobbish and standoffish and is involved in the community like that and supports community art, I think we're so lucky to have that up the road. We really are. And we, you know, I keep telling people, we've got more graffiti per head of population than Bristol, man. This town is fantastic for artwork. And I guess a lot of it has come from your shelves, hasn't it? So let's talk about that. I mean, I always kind of thought of you as the paint shop, because you've got a reputation outside Bristol as probably one of the best paint shops outside of Bristol. If you need paint, you've got a water paint. It's like the Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I mean,
who are you going to see? You're going to go see Dan, aren't you?
I have guys from Radstock and Yeovil driving up. I mean, they could go online, but they'd rather come here. I mean, I haven't changed my prices since costs went up after Brexit. Like, the third time my supplier put their prices up, I changed my price, like, because we were doing 3 for a tenner. We now do 4 for 15 on the spray paint.
The wall behind
yeah, that's the water base. That we do like 4 for 19, but still, I think that's undercutting everyone. I wanted to get spray paint as cheap as possible, and how do I do that? So, well, I sell it, and then me and the guys that I paint with can get paint as cheap as possible, which means we can control quoting commissions better. That was always like one of the main things, was supplying paint, and I've always stuck with that. Like, I'd rather subsidise the paint with other things and keep it so that anyone can come here and spend 30 quid and walk away with 8 cans, which is more than enough to do a decent piece, like a decent session. And that's just getting art out there. And again, I think that's recognised, you know, Kim's recognised that. That's a good synergy, because she knows that I just want people to get up, like, you know, hit walls. So, there's not a big profit margin, but there's a lot more colour out there.
People don't realise, they see a wall like the Glastonbury mural, as it's now called, and they don't walk past me. How many cans? 10, 15, 20 cans?
No, that was a bloody nightmare, to be honest. Like that, I mean, the finished piece, you know, we were all happy with, but we went in like a Spinal Tap, like drawn on a napkin, you know, like I sketched out actually a sarcastic, like, because Bill Knight wanted Glastonbury on a postcard,
on a wall,
really stereotyped, you know, like put it all in this one image.
Biscuit tin Glastonbury.
And I was like, well, we'll have a rainbow coming off the tor onto the Abbey, and it got okayed, and it was like, oh, all right, well, we'll do that then. And actually, as it evolved, it was looking better and better, but we didn't go in with a plan, which is a proper lesson. I'd say to anyone, like, just know what you're doing before you reach a wall, let alone a 2-story wall.
How many tins of paint would you say that took?
I can't remember, it was hundreds of pounds worth of cans, because we just kept going over ourselves. What little profit margin there might have been. Bill wanted the wall painted, but he didn't want to pay like crazy prices, you know, but we'd never painted a wall that size, so we just bit his hand off for the opportunity. And then a week later had some shoddy scaffolding and this giant wall and no true plan. And so we made it up as we went along. So actually, a lot of paint. Yeah, it was quite stressful. Like, it was quite a stressful thing, because there was also 5 of us working on it. You know, trying to work out how we can all put our own individual,
what year was this
flavour on it. 2015. Running into that summer, Bill Knight asked John Mason, you know, will you paint a tree on this wall? You know, he does his trees, we'll look at them. And John was like, I don't think just doing a big black tree on a wall is gonna cut it. So he spoke to me, because he knew that I was good friends with Johnny and Tommy and Ben, love them.
Great guys.
And those 3 were way ahead of me. I've constantly been playing catch up with them, but they've been the best tutors to play catch up with. So, but I didn't really have a clue what I was doing. So John didn't, like, I don't think John had painted a wall properly. He'd just done canvases. I was, you know, fledgling. I've been doing stencils and like just dicking around, like never taking myself seriously enough.
So
and then these 3 guys had been taking themselves seriously, and so 5 of us winged it on that wall and walked away. You know, so like all of us, I think, were like, man, if we knew how much coverage it would have got, we would have gone in with a better plan. Like, and we wouldn't have wasted time painting over ourselves. It could have looked even better than it does. Like, it's great that everyone loves it and people photograph it whenever they come here. But I think as artists, all of us were like, shot ourselves in the foot a little bit on it.
They do get tired after a time, so it can be revisited, can't it?
Yeah, John said in your last video, like, if Bill Knight ever wants to have it refreshed, I think all of us, you know, with years more experience down the line, I think we would all happily revamp it. You know, like where you remaster a track. Yes. It would be like that. I think we'd remaster the wall.
Town has got a much better attitude. I mean, this is
the town But I mean, you know, the town totally stood behind that wall.
Absolutely.
And that's what I mean by us realising that, you know, like, because for us it was just an opportunity to paint a wall. And then very quick, this was part of the stress for me, was like, oh, I got roots in Bristol, where you just hit walls. You just paint walls, everything's okay. Like, this was kind of pushing the edge. Kim had done the candy skull, and she'd done the kind of scarab beetle, but maybe, you know, and there were a few other things by John Minchell, but that, you know, John stuff's like high-end murals, really. This had graffiti roots. He is, yeah, he's a beautiful artist. But, you know, like Johnny's lettering was graffiti style, 3D, like, you know, Loveham's moon, you know, these big anime eyes. I did a upside down rainbow, like, which runs in the chakra order. And then people kept being like, the rainbow's upside down. so we put in a double rainbow and put it twisting around the upside down chakra rainbow. But that's what I mean, like, it was crazy. We just winged it. Yeah, and it was a bit stressful because everyone had an opinion on how to paint this wall, and some people didn't want that wall painted.
I know.
But then most people, you know, when push came to shove, actually a huge amount of people stood behind it.
I was on the council at the time. I remember supporting it. I mean, there was a lot of support.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and the town council, I think, did, because the town council knew how many people were taking photos of it every day.
Absolutely.
It was Mendip, and it was kind of Mendip just following bureaucracy of being told it was a listed building, and without rabbiting too much, Bill was like, that's a rendered wall, painted green many times because people keep tagging it. So all I've done is pay people to paint it more than one colour, and as far as Bill was concerned and the town was concerned, it only helps.
Give it 50 years, that'll probably be listed as a building with that artwork on it.
Yeah. Well, hopefully with a revamp, because you know, as I said, that was the first thing we all did. As I wouldn't say we were a crew then either, just a bunch of mates. So it was in the deep end, but it survived, and so have we. Yeah, and part of that is the paint route is the main route behind this. That and trying to encourage artists, you know, that are middle of the range or fledgling to like just have an opportunity to display their stuff.
So talking about artists, show me around the shop. Let's go and have a look, because we've got some really top quality. I mean, look at these skateboards. I love these skateboards. These are amazing.
So yeah, they just came in, and actually it was like quite funny because the guy Tony that bought them in, he said, "Oh, do you sell artwork?" And I said, "Not anymore. Like, it's so hard to sell original artwork in here." And he was like, "Oh, well, I'll show you what I do anyway." And he pulled out these skateboards, and it just game changer. I was like, okay, they're going to fit perfectly in here. Absolutely. Like, you know, some are on canvas with 3 figures on it. Yeah, although, you know, we sold Ash's artwork. That was high end, 3 figures. I sold Rowena Draper's artwork, but yeah, Tony's skateboards are beautiful. Like, they're so cool. So again, like, although I've kind of stopped putting in original pieces except for John and Rosie's stuff. Yeah. Yeah, if something really catches my eye, it's worth a punt. And I guess the other thing is he's priced them quite modestly. I think I think we've
much are they?
we've put them out at 150
For a hand-painted deck. That's
for a hand-painted deck. And again, that's, you know, that means someone can afford it. They can save up, you know, and yeah, I think one of the other things, we just wanted normal people to be able to buy art off of other normal people.
I love these, what do you call that? Geometry type art. This stuff,
Yeah, it's
I
geometry.
love these.
Yeah, so they're ashes. People that live here know Ash is a very good heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just phenomenal. Like, I'm really chuffed that we got to sell one of his originals because, yeah, he is a phenomenal artist.
So, I've got to talk about the vinyl. I love vinyl. I grew up with vinyl. I had a really nice turntable. I like vinyl. So tell me, how does this sell? Is this making a comeback like people tell us? Is there a...
Well, John, when we had Crafty Shop, was very insistent that because Tor Records had closed, there was a hole in the market.
Yes.
He knew loads of dealers. He's a record collector himself, and I learned to DJ on vinyl. So, you know, and anyone that loves vinyl, you know, they've got the bug. Like, it doesn't matter if it's fishing or, you know, croquet or whatever. Like, if you've got the bug for it, it doesn't go away. And so I understood where John was coming from about there being a hole in the market, and we went from 1 box to 2 boxes to 5 boxes to 7 boxes. And when we moved over here, John paid for this because he wanted a proper unit that people could dig through.
Yeah.
Like, he really wanted that old school feel of a record shop. Yeah, and obviously we had the room. Crafty Shop was tiny. This was way bigger than I expected, to be honest, when I got here. This is a big shop to fill when you don't know what you're doing. So John, yeah, he was like, you know, like, vinyl never goes away, but there was also this bubble, which is still around. I'd say like 2016, 2017, people started getting the bug, like a generation below me that never knew vinyl. Like, they were born in a world that was digital. They wanted to experience this analog, you know,
Getting up halfway through and turning it over.
Gatefold, yeah, just the whole physical experience that vinyl brings.
Because, I mean, if you look at this, I mean, that's a 12-inch canvas, isn't it? You can't do that with digital. And some of these albums, they really did. I mean, they went to town on the artwork, didn't they?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
they were concepts themselves.
So, you know, so Emerson, Lake and Palmer's got a Geiger piece, and I won't rabbit on too much about, because I could just talk about vinyl.
Oh, me too. Yeah, maybe we should do a video about vinyl, ladies and gentlemen.
Happily.
Currently showing my age here.
But again, like, people that gave away their collections in the 90s because they were told CDs were amazing are now recollecting their vinyl that they gave away. So yeah, John was definitely right. There's a generation that wants to buy it because they've never seen it, and there's a generation that wants to buy it because they gave it all away, and actually there's a nostalgic feeling to vinyl that they want to rekindle. John just knows loads of different dealers from Bristol and further to Taunton and further. So they predominantly want to deal with like mint and excellent condition. So he just kind of hoovers up everything. The sleeve might be slightly dogged. There might be some hairline scratches. We won't put anything out that we don't think will play through. At the same time, it allows the price to come down. Again, like, we just want people to be able to afford stuff, keep the turnover kind of high, like, keep people like having fun, like, and walking away happy. So yeah, John's always been like really as good as he can on the pricing in here.
So moving along to the racks of clothes, I thought you had somebody come in with a delivery this morning as we were setting up, didn't you?
Yeah, Louise dropped off her Superfly attire. People might have seen these floating around town. Like,
oh, with the wings, look at that.
Flying around town. I mean, honestly, again, like, we could just talk about
the quality.
What she's done here. Cotton tracksuit, soft gold, crushed velvet. Just the list of cool things.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Look at these little crowns on there.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
So that's Louise's garments, which are beautiful. Next up, her fella's Cyrus's garments, and again, this is all recycled polyester, sewn in the UK. These are original hand-painted drawings that he'd done, then scanned in and put into print. He found the most sustainable company, UK-based company he could.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's his artwork, and then these are John's photos. I won't show you all of them.
Yeah, I recognise that
But
one.
again, like, you know, John was going up every sunrise over lockdown, so he just got so many phenomenal photos. He is a photographer. He's a man. He's a man of many things.
Man of many parts, most of them hidden under a bushel.
Yeah. Some of them should be hidden under.
Well, there is that. We won't go into that.
Buried.
Yeah.
So yeah, so Cyrus got John's photos and was like, "Yo, let's put them on these T-shirts." So we've done that. This is recycled as well. We'll chat about that in a minute when we talk about the Avalon stuff. Just trying to keep the ethical bar. But yeah, I mean, this is a good rail to an example of how many people are in the shop. This is Paul's stuff. This is Boswell's stuff, like Mute Artist. You can find him on Instagram. Like, Boswell's been painting forever. Like, you know, I knew of him long before I had a shop. Who else we got? We got Adam's stuff in here. Like, he's got a couple of designs. That was a preliminary design for Heart of the Tribe. So the Heart of the Tribe logo that you see
Could have been that.
could have been that, but they didn't want that. They wanted it to evolve. But Adam was always really happy with what he'd done here, and obviously Glastonbury is meant to be the heart chakra.
Well, absolutely. I can see where he's going from.
So he just, you know, and I'd already been selling one of his other designs, so he just was like, "Can I chuck it in?"
Yeah, why not?
For me, it's like, we can chuck it in, and if it doesn't sell, I'll chuck it back. If it does sell, chuck more in. It's just, that's how the shop's evolved. This is Kishi's stuff, like, this really cool, like quite simple but great. Yeah, she's a great lass. Helena does upcycled clothing. Yeah, so, you know, how many people have I listed on that row?
Already.
Maybe 5 or 6.
So, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, a lot of shops in Glastonbury, well, some shops in Glastonbury just sell reproduction or warehouse goods. These are all individually made by craftspeople, local craftspeople. So if you're in Glastonbury, you want to get a bit of what Glastonbury's all about, come and buy something by people who live here.
Yeah.
Come here and do that. Talking of which, is the elephant in the room. I'm sure John won't mind me describing him as the elephant in the room. But look at these trees, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I'm sure you recognise this artwork from my last video I did on Somerset, Sounds on Somerset, Styles of Somerset.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you recognise it from the video before that and the one before that. Yeah, in fact, John, bless him, decided not to come this morning because he thought he didn't want to overpower everything by being on
but he's here. I mean, that's it. Like, he's here whether he's here or not.
He's
like,
my most interviewed chap on the channel and has his artwork, and I love it. I actually have one of these on my wall, one of this size at home. I have one at home.
But again, like, you know, John's ethos is everyone should be able to just buy a piece of original. You know, it's hand painted. It's under 30 quid. Like, it's, you know, the moon's glow in the dark, like, you know, and I think the locals may forget just until summer really kicks in, but this is a tourist town. Like, I kind of call it like a landlocked seaside town.
It's been called a theme park before.
It's certainly, and a madhouse. But a lot of people come here and they want to take something away that, you know, reminds them of their experience in Glastonbury, you know, predominantly positive. And so John's artwork's a good example of something affordable to take away, stick on the wall. Got a couple of Rosie's mandalas in. Rosie covers Sundays. So that's nice, you know, that although it's not high-end art, like, it's still, you know, hand done. Some hours have been put in.
I would say any art is high-end because it's handmade by a human being.
Yeah, cool. Well, thanks. Yeah, I mean, I know what figures are asked for in galleries and all that jazz, but yeah, and it's great that, you know, John and Rosie, who are both directly involved in keeping the door open, have their artwork on the wall. So kind of an incentive for them to keep the vibe alive.
So who else have you got in here then, Dan? Who else do you work with?
Yeah, I mentioned Lynette earlier. I did want to just point out her stuff because Lynette's based in Gloucestershire, but she's been, you know, a solid supplier, but then, you know, she kind of becomes a friend. It's really nice how we've met people along the way and you kind of build up a friendship out of a business relationship. Yeah, Lynette's mosaics, light switches, everyone's got light switches. It's blown so many people's minds, like just how simple an idea it is, but how effective it is. And all of them kind of kooky, you know, she kind of marries up like vintage badges or homemade badges with dragon eyes and you know, mosaic tiles and color coding. She's got some teapots in here. Yeah, I just wanted to plug her stuff because she's been solid from like 2015, and a good example of how long some people have been involved in this business. Amber, again, like great friend for many years. We got her Fuck Today hoodies. And this is a design, like Amber's gonna start covering back in here, but she was in here, and I guess she was having a bit of a bad day. She drew this sun and just wrote "fuck today," and I was like, you could make a t-shirt out of that. That's amazing. So that evening, we did. And here it is, and that's the same with the Avalon. Really, it's like, see if it works. It works. Stick it on a t-shirt. Does it sell? Yes. Do people want it again? Yes. This is all vintage stuff that she sources. That's been great as well. Just
I love the way everywhere you look around here, there's tins of paint.
Yeah, it's kind of overstock. But if the overstock's on the floor, then you know, artists, if they can't find the colour in the main cabinet, they can always have a little rummage and see if it's buried in one of our little
and maybe take a fancy to one of those t-shirts as they rummage.
Or a scarf or whatever. A little plug as well to the Psycho Source. These guys are based in Portishead.
That's just up the road, isn't it?
And I think their first shop properly was in Bristol, and I lived in Bristol for years, and you know, I was there when they opened up their little space in St Nick's Market. And
they were there, were they?
Yeah, they probably still are.
So what can you tell me about them? What are they, hot chili sauces?
Yeah, it's all kind of California Reaper or Ghost Pepper. It's just extremely hot. I mean, there's a couple of lighter ones like Scotch Bonnet, but still stuff that would, you know, just looking at them would burn some people's eyes. This one, like 5X, is crazy. We did get some even stronger serums in, but it's a bit too excessive. Like, we reined it in. Then a super strong coffee as well. Yeah, pickles, onions. Yeah, I wanted to support another company that was local. And also there was a hole in the market, just like John with the vinyl. Like, very early on, we realised no one was doing this side of Bristol, like bespoke hot sauce. But this was back in Crafty Shop. I kept watching people walk in to Crafty Shop, come down this little ramp, and then not know why the hell they'd walked into this kind of street art, urbanized, tiny little space. And I needed an icebreaker, and you know, what's better than hot sauce?
Jeff, it's one for you, mate. I will get you the hottest one and get it sent over.
That's that one.
My friend Jeff in America, he likes Mexican food. He likes
Well, I guess that's, you know, I haven't had many people that like hot sauce say that the 5X is, you know, tap water. Like, everyone knows someone that loves chili. Everyone knows someone that loves strong coffee. So yeah, that was an icebreaker back at Crafty Shop, and we just kept it. It's weird that it's here, but it still works.
It works. Well, my takeaway from this personally has been the fact that, you know, you're supporting the local artists, and that is so important. I mean, but many people watch the Jeremy Clarkson farm thing, and this Series 2's just been out recently. He highlighted the plight of the farmers around him, and he was trying to support them by setting up various things that allowed them to sell their produce. And like, you know, it's all right being an artist, but if you haven't got an outlet,
you
know, and you're giving these guys an outlet, and this is so nice to see. It's all local, individually sourced stuff. Now, talking about the elephant in the room, you're an artist as well yourself. Show me some of the stuff you've done, because you showed me everybody else's. What have you done, bro?
I mean, I've painted in town. I did Avalon Now.
You did, yes, we know that one.
In town, and obviously I helped on the big wall. I broke my brain on that big wall. I did the jellyfish in Tor Leisure Park.
Yes.
So the jellyfish is best at night, like, and when the moon's kind of half or full.
Yeah, it kind of glows.
Because the moon illuminates it, but the rest of the scenery is dark, and so the actual jellyfish glows. Yeah, I've done loads of bloody paintings, And some of them are gone. I mean, this one was on a derelict, like this was a completely gutted, derelict set of buildings. That's gone now. The Hedgehog at Cheddar Skate Park, that's gone now. By making cards and stickers, I feel like I've kind of frozen those pieces of graph and then recycled them so that they're not just gone forever. And yeah, also I guess it's a kind of good example of what I can do and might land me commissions. So if you want something painted, yeah, get hold of me, because I'm happy to paint anything from a shed, you know, a 1 litre car to a lorry in a 3-story building.
And I think we've seen you painting most of those things on one video or another.
Yeah.
So I see you got more cards here. These are not yours behind you.
Yeah, these are all local artists as well. This is kind of like a little rack of fame, really. I kind of beelined for Pamela Legg when we first moved here and got the card rack and had the room to kind of introduce more artists. Yeah, and again, we used to sell prints, and I think I sold one of everyone's prints, but it was never a big earner, and it was kind of just like start to feel like dead space. So cards just trickle out all year round. Prints were harder to do, so we let them go. But I really always want to try and keep in the local artists' cards, because it's great promotion for them. Yeah, and everyone loves sending a card to someone. Like, you can put them in a little frame. So yeah, Pamela Legg's, you know, she's got quite a bit of work in Glastonbury Galleries just next door as well. I always loved Pamela's stuff. Rosa, she's a tattooist. Who else? Krista Fox, like, she does like tours and quite like light work kind of paintings. This guy's from Frome, this guy Watts. These are some really intricate black and whites. Who else? Yeah, there's so many people on here. Good old John Mason.
Yeah,
in every single,
it's a tree.
Every single corner of the shop. Yeah, one or another. Some photography from Rundorf, I think is, Rindert, sorry. Oh, who else? Faye. Yeah, Faye's, you know, I don't know if you've spoken to Faye, but she's done some of the mural trail.
Yes, I know Faye.
This guy, Peregrine Art. Yeah, some of my stuff. Yeah, just loads of John's photography. So this is kind of, as I said, like a little, Rowena Draper. Like, I've always wanted her stuff in as well. We sold one of her originals. I was really happy about that. Yeah, to just kind of constantly have her cards in, I think is great.
So I've got to ask you, if you're watching this video and you're an artist and you think to yourself, oh, I wonder if you'd sell my pictures. Is it worth if they've got something like this?
I mean, yeah, so Rogues Glaston on Facebook or Rogues Avalon on Instagram is the best ways to message me and kind of send me your links or your photos of what you do. As I said, I've kind of put a blanket ban on trying to sell prints and original art until Tony turns up with some amazing skateboards and blows my mind, and I take everything back like within 10 seconds of telling him no. But predominantly I don't want to try and sell big art. No. Like, it just takes up a lot of room. But
something like cards would be good.
A6 cards all day long. Like, I'm always happy to kind of support artists, and if they got their website on the back and everything, as I said, it's only pocket money for them, but it gets their art out there, and you never know what they might land off of it.
These do well. You might ask them to put a bigger painting in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, cards sell all year round, and it's just kind of nice to promote the artists, and also it kind of freshens it up. So yeah, although I'd say the big stuff, I don't think I can help so much, and we're so full of clothing. Yeah. Like, I'd love to support more fashion designers, but I do feel like we're stocked to the gills.
You can only do so much.
But at the same time, like, if anyone's welcome to message, and if anyone drops out, or if it's really like, wow, that could work, we'll give it a go. But the other thing is, it's up to the public.
Of course it is.
Like, it's always been like sale or return, and it's up to the public if it sells or not. And if it doesn't sell, I give it back. If it does sell, bring in more. Yeah.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. We hear it first here. So if you have some artwork that you think might do well in here, you heard the details, get in touch. Dan's the man, and who knows, you might get something in here, and who knows where that could lead. And it's always about local people, so it's all about giving start to local people. But Dan, there's always one last question, and that is, where do you go from here? What do you want to do in the future, brother?
Yeah, what's the year got installed? I can't really go beyond the year.
Right.
I've kind of just got to get to Christmas, and if I get to Christmas 1 year at a time, then that's great. So just keep the door open, keep the vibe alive. Yeah, play cool music, have cool art in. I guess, yeah, kind of like I've got a crew that, you know, I think really enjoy being in here. So I kind of want to let them take over a little bit more. And that gives me a back seat to focus on stock and focus on my own art and my own DJing. Yeah, and also putting on Styles of Somerset at the end of May at White Lake Park in Pill. If I'm constantly here, this is my main job. And I realise that kind of affects certain other parts of me that I'm also good at, like, you know, so I'm going to be DJing at the King Arthur the first Saturday of the month in the beer garden. I'm going to have a guest DJ as well, but we're going to do like 1 till 7, first Saturday of the month in the King Arthur beer garden. I'm going to do all vinyl, from dub to liquid D&B and everything in between, like whatever I pack in the record box, see how it flows. So the idea that I don't have to be in here, there's a crew that love being in here, get paid to be in here, you know, keep the vibe going, and then I can be elsewhere dropping beats or hitting walls.
Absolutely.
That'd be dope.
Absolutely.
Yeah, organising paint jams.
Organising paint jams, which they don't organise themselves, do they? They certainly don't.
They really don't. It's like herding cats, herding street artists.
While walking through treacle.
Yeah. It's always worth it. Like every paint jam we've done, we've walked away really happy, you know, like me, Ben, Rich, the rest of the crew. Yeah, we've always walked away from a paint jam nothing but happy, and I'm really looking forward to working with Debs and Joe on White Lake Park. That's going to be a really good weekend. Yeah, like a lot of stuff to paint. So
indeed.
Yeah, Brit, just kind of bring on spring, like, and yeah, not overcook myself. I've definitely burnt the wick at. I feel like I've just put the candle into a Bunsen burner, like
watched
for
it
years,
melt.
and just but somehow I'm still here. The crew still have my back, so let's keep on it.
I do have to ask one question before we go. At what point did you decide to borrow my name? Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. They named the shop after me. Hey, not really. I think I borrowed it first.
So the Run DMC rip-off thing, which has been a lot more successful. I just thought it was a cool idea. Like, it looked cool, but I'm
not going to argue with that. No way.
It's been a lot more successful than I expected. Yeah, just as an ethos, like there's this kind of community spirit that hip hop has, and Run DMC, that logo is synonymous with that. So to realise that Avalon is the same amount of letters, and it
looks such a good shape when you do that.
And when I designed it on the computer, the AVA, like the way that sat together, I just knew it was worth giving to Paul, who again is a local printer. All the Avalon stuff and the Styles of Somerset stuff is on organic cotton, like with fair trade. Amber's stuff, which we didn't get to talk about, is again organic cotton. Trying like Ecotricity, which is 100% renewable energy, that powers the electricity in here. Like, there are certain ethical bars that we try and hit. That's a thread that we really try and hold, like try and make it organic or recycled polyester.
Well, on that positive note, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to say goodbye, because
thanks, mate, as always.
I have a home to go to, Dan has a home to go to, and we're going to go there. So in the meantime, if you've got any artwork or you want to talk to Dan, you know where he is in the high street. You've got the details, I'll put them in the description below. But for now, from Dan and from me, it's goodbye.